to my exes.
Acting by night. Keep going crazy.
Show off your skin, that shit is popping, girl. Body on 10, damn, you got it, girl. You gotta boss up. Getting them checks, living your best. Racks up. Keep walking with confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Lexus, Exodus. Shout out to my exes.
So I had to come here tonight because I'm so disappointed in Black women YouTubers. So I've been quietly watching and peeping things. One prominent YouTuber let a tragic mulatto run her up off this space, and the other is crashing out over here making multiple videos on the broad, even though she has a much larger platform and biracial Becky only got 20,000 followers. And I'm disturbed. I'm perturbed. And I simply could not remain silent about this. Black women clearly need an intervention for allowing biracial Becky to get under our skin like this. The reality is this chick is the byproduct of a self-loathing ninja who pedestalized, fetishized, and objectified her white mother. The ninja fooled her mother into thinking she would receive preferential treatment due to her skin color. But because we know Becky gets the same whack men, he pumped and dumped and abandoned this biracial Becky's mother. And since you should have ended up a throw baby, sis, you should have ended up at the chop shop. You should have been swallowed but weren't. Your mother didn't put you out your misery and instead brought you into a world where she was ill-equipped to raise you, affirm your identity, and secretly resented and regrets your existence. You have simply become a bitter bottom shelf Beckisha. I mean, this girl has disrespected racially unambiguous, fully Black women. She's referred to Black women as cotton pickers, as nappy-headed slaves, the hard R's, and other derogatory terms. Some of y'all are mad and triggered, but shouldn't be. The reality is she's just a multiracial Karen. She's a tragic mulatto. She's a mixed-race mutt who projects her insecurities, complexes, and anger towards fully Black women who don't have those issues. And before we get into this, let's be very, very clear. I have to preface this show with this disclaimer. I don't give a F about this biracial bum. Black women, you shouldn't either, quite frankly. So she will not be named on my platform. Mods, if you see anyone mention this other channel, delete it. Years ago, when I first started my channel, you all asked me to address this miserable mulatto back when she only had a few thousand followers. I refused to dignify it with a response. I'm better than most of these bitches and wouldn't piss on this broad if she was on fire. But Black women have been rage baited. Now this chick, because she's received all this free promo from these platforms, now she has 20,000 followers. So today we'll address this multiracial mutt. And we'll be tackling the misogynoir and the hate Black women receive from mixed-race women with white mothers due to their unhealthy upbringings and problematic parents. This discussion is long overdue. I firmly believe, and I'm here to empower you, Black women, remind you of your worth, readjust your crown, and to give you the tools to rise above the noise and to ignore these bum-ass bitches so that you never step away your throne to address these clout chasing Beckishas again. So grab your wine, grab your tea, and let's get into it. So before we get into examples of these tragic mulattoes with white mothers and how they grow up in such a toxic environment, they become unhinged adults that hate Black women, let's first talk about how it's because the relationship that their parents have with one another. So I want to first look at this clip of this white woman who breaks down the dynamics of these relationships, which explain why their children be so effed up.
You know, it's funny. They would like you to believe I'm their preference, but that's just triangulation. See, my baby father used to do the same thing to me. He'd be like, oh, I prefer Spanish women. I prefer black women. They do the same thing to all of us. So when they get around you, it's, oh, I love them white girls. They're going to do it to any group they're around. They're going to compare you to another woman to triangulate you and make you feel bad. That's just manipulation. We are not their preference. We're just a trophy that they say, hey, I got a white girl. But they just abuse us and mistreat us and don't take us seriously. We're just sex objects and we're just there to flaunt around and maybe get ahead. And then they think white women have money so they can try to use them for their money and status and shit like that. And to be more accepted around white men. But yeah, no, they do the same thing to me. Like when my ex would abuse me in public and I'd be asking for help, he would go up to the black woman and be like, no, she's a white girl trying to lie on me and get me arrested. I ain't do nothing. You know these white women. You know these white women. You can't trust them. She's trying to take a black man down. And you know, black women will fall for that too. But he will switch sides. Anytime it was convenient, 1 minute it's, I love Spanish women. 1 minute, I love white women. The next minute, I hate white women. 1 minute, this is what I get for getting with a white woman. I should have never got with a white woman. Then they turn on you and they recruit a bunch of flying monkeys who are going to support the narrative and be so quick to comfort him like, yes, baby. You know you shouldn't have got with them white women. Come here. Come here, abusive, narcissistic, psychopathic man. You know you're better with me than a white woman. You know I can treat your narcissistic, abusive ass way better than that white woman could. It's all manipulation. Trust me, we are not their preference. Plenty of black men told me, oh, I thought white women smelled like bologna and y'all look like raw chicken. And basically are disgusted to even mess with a white woman, make fun of each other for dealing with a white woman, and make it seem like it's literally the scum of the earth thing to do. It's just novelty. So don't believe the triangulation. It's all manipulation that they just say to make every bitch feel inferior to each other.
Every B.
When in reality, they're the ones that feel inferior inside. They just have to put women down to make themselves feel high up. Race is actually an illusion. Racism was created the same way the gender system was created, to create oppression and a power dynamic and a hierarchy. That's what it is. My ex tried to get with her, and her ex tried to get with me. That shit don't fucking matter, bro. This is true. This shit don't matter, bro. Their preference is put.
Told y'all straight from the horse's mouth. So could you imagine being a child raised in these effed up dynamics and how confused you would be and angry at the world you'd be as a direct result of this kind of toxic upbringing and unhealthy environment? I mean, really, Black women have to incorporate critical thinking skills instead of just responding to nonsense. Stop being so triggered and take a step back to analyze things first. Most of this is just rage baiting and projection about these chicks' own self-loathing that we should be ignoring because children who become the byproducts of these relationships are unwell. They're unhinged and unhealthy. They're mentally ill. Imagine being a child fathered by a manipulative, malignant narcissist that fetishizes your mother and pretended he'd pedestalize her and would treat her well because she was a non-Black preference. Offered to simply blow up in her face and all be a facade and a game. And in the end, he only objectified her and utilized her to weaponize her against other women for some sick, twisted agenda he has against Black women. Like, seriously, how would you feel if you were a child that was forced to be subjected to this type of environment? Does this sound like a household that will foster healthy, well-adjusted children? On top of that, these girls' fathers do all that. Start families with their mothers, all to simply leave and abandon both you and your mama to deal with the mess he created. So now, not only is your mom pissed off and bitter at Black people in general, you serve as a stark reminder of her mistakes, so she takes it out on you. Especially because after having you, she can't just go back to white men who are known to be providers and protectors. She can't do that with this Black man's baby on her head. So I see why you're mad, biracial Beckisha. No wonder you're triggered by fully Black women who did not have to go through this ordeal and who don't experience with identity crisis. Because although many Black women have had to deal with toxic fathers, we have Black mothers to fill in the gaps and to raise, nurture, and love and care for us. We cannot relate to this. We have Black mothers to affirm our identity and instill self-esteem in us and celebrate our Blackness. We don't have a complex about our identity because our mothers tend to be extremely pro-Black and since birth immersed us in our culture. We don't have moms who hate our very existence like most mixed race women with white mothers do. And this is why they're mad and project that displaced anger towards us. And I want to also preface this by saying mixed children with Black mothers do not go through this. They're affirmed and embraced and loved and celebrated by their mothers. This is something that is prevalent and is a thing that mixed children with white mothers and ninja fathers experience. On top of that, these chicks are told by white people they're too Black to be considered white, and are told by Black people they're too white to be considered Black. So Black women, your very existence triggers and agitates these chicks. Let's look at more examples of this toxicity that they're forced to grow up in that explains why they're so problematic and effed up.
In the name of all that is holy, would you look at Karen Smith's gym clothes?
Of course, all the plastics are in the same gym class. Where are the plastics?
They're teen royalty. If North Shore was Us Weekly, they would always be on the cover.
We run, hey, 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 what's happening?
That one right there is Ayanna Van Zandt. She's one of the dumbest people you'll ever meet. I sat next to her in law school last year and she told me I should date our bus driver. And that funny looking one over there, that's Tyler Perry. She expects women to cape and coddle broke men because she was one and we turned her into a billionaire. She also tells successful Black women to date who can pay the light bill because she secretly does the same thing. And evil takes a human form in Nicki Minaj. She's male-identified and male-worshipping, so hates other women who look like her.
Is it the thanks that I get for putting you bitches on?
She hates Black women so much, she even defends predators and married ones. She even victim blames and makes fun of DV survivors.
I call her Bigfoot. The bitch fell off. I said, get up on your good foot. Lied on her dead mama. Lied on her dead mama. Lied on her dead mama.
Are you tired of constantly being bullied by mules and mean girls? Are you sick of being told to lessen your standards and to ride or die? Are you exhausted from tolerating anything just to say you got a man? Then you're in the right place. Join the Lexus Exodus Patreon private community to meet like-minded, divested women who prioritize self first. In my Patreon, you will participate in exclusive lives, get access to exclusive content, get access to a private community of other divested women, and much, much more. Join us by visiting patreon.com/LexusExodus. See you soon.
Yeah, what do you want to see? What do y'all want to see?
We just want to make sure that the environment that she's in is okay.
Do I ask to come in y'all house? Do I ask, is the environment okay in y'all house? No, I don't. So you don't have to come in. I take videos with her. You've had multiple videos with
of her and post them on
naked.
TikTok.
She was not naked. She literally had a towel on. Miranda, you've never came. Just please let me get my daughter. But the day before her birthday.
You're not capable of taking care of
Miranda, it's just the day. Just please let me get my daughter for a few hours the day before her birthday. Please. That's all I'm asking. I literally FaceTime you. I seen you pictures. I seen you videos. Like, you can call the sheriff's department, but you're not. You've never came in any other time before now, Miranda. Like what do you call? You calling the police? I'm gonna tell them the same thing. Miranda, this crazy. You've dropped her off about 4 different times from now. You've never asked to come in. So they actually told me to, because this is for this reason why. You've never. Can you call Miranda? Just call the police. Like, you've let me get her every other time, bro. Every single time. Now you want to come in the house. No, I don't come in your house. I don't ask you to come in your house.
Is post on social media.
Miranda, do I ask you to come in your house and look at this and look at that? No. So you don't need to come in my house.
Okay, then. I mean.
Are you gonna call the police, or can I get my daughter?
No, we're not.
Bro, it's crazy. Why come here? Well, why come here and do this? That's what I'm saying. You're mad about online stuff. Why are you taking my daughter? Explain why you taking my daughter, Miranda. Explain why you taking my daughter.
Embarrassing.
Bro, explain why you're taking my daughter. Because I won't let you come in my house. And you make yourself look stupid. Yeah, continue to make yourself.
I'm gonna get my own clothes.
No, you're not finna get shit. Like, on my soul, on my daughter, you're not finna get shit.
You can be drunk here all you want to.
Okay,
I'm finna be real drunk here when my people beat your ass in a second.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
The police gonna beat your ass or my people gonna beat your ass?
Okay.
Because I'll call the police here.
I know you'll call the police. I know you call the police.
You want me to do?
No, that's what you always wanted to do. That's why I don't need to be with you.
That's what you want me to do.
Okay. No, I don't want you to do that.
Call my people. You told me to call my dad.
Yeah,
you
call
told
your
me
dad.
to call these people.
Yeah, go ahead. I said go ahead and get your money so I can go.
That's what you told me to do.
I said all you gotta do is get your money so I can go.
You told me to do.
Okay, whatever.
You want me to do what you told me to do?
All right, whatever.
You don't want to record when you beating people. But you want to.
Bro, you just hit me right here. Man, come on, man. You ripped my dreads out, and I still got them dreads.
Tonight I ripped your dreads out.
Wow. All I'm trying to do is go out the door. Y'all see this on camera? I'm trying to leave out the door, get away from the situation, and make things better for me. But I can't seem to go. So when the police get here, you will see, because I'm gonna have to remove her from me physically. I'm trying to be polite and just walk out and have a great day, but she won't get off me. Can you please get off me? I'm asking her twice.
I'm asking you to
Can
sit
you
down.
please get off of me?
Okay, I'm asking you to sit down.
Can you please get off of me?
Gary, please don't put your hands. I'm begging you, please sit down, Gary. Please don't leave me. Please.
You see this, right?
Gary,
You see this?
please,
I'm
stop.
trying to go.
Please.
I'm trying to go.
Look at me.
I don't want to be with you.
I will give you whatever.
I don't want nothing from you. I want to be away from you.
Gary. I know he's.
Again, mixed race women with white mothers are subjected to very toxic environments. Their parents don't genuinely love one another. It's based off of superficial fetishization and objectification. Black men like white women because of their proximity to whiteness and what they feel it symbolizes, not due to character, personality, or truly being a good fit for one another. This is why they have the highest divorce rates and create the most fatherless homes. This is why their mixed children grow up with complexes and with this anger and hatred that's being spewed our way. They mothers don't like their half-black asses. Their fathers don't care for them either and abandon them. So they project this insecurity and hatred onto fully Black women who don't have those issues. Let's also look at this next clip that illustrates this, of this woman who explains how poorly her white mother was treated by her ninja daddy. That also illustrates why these biracial children be so mad at fully Black women.
Let me tell y'all the foulest thing my father has done. So he said he had a job interview out of town, so he packed up. Me, my sisters, my mom, we all drove out of town with him. The interview was at a hospital. So he drops us off downtown and we go eat, we go explore whatever while he's at his interview. I just remember waiting hours for him to come pick us up. So all is good, whatever, we go back to our city. So about 8 years later, he confesses to my mom. This man had another baby at that hospital and he took us to the city to wait for him while he had his fucking child. So this is the end of him and my mom's relationship. She dipped. So I was around 12 when all of this happened. So why is my mother barely telling me I'm 25?
You see this? What did I tell you? That's a messed up ish. And how much you want to bet this ninja likely regular cheated and also probably had that side baby with a Black woman? And here, her mixed race daughter had to endure all of this and be subjected to that bitterness and to that resentment that her mother had against this nignog and to Black women. Y'all wonder why these mixed race children with white moms and ninja daddies be so messed up. The dynamics are different. Ninja packed his whole family up to travel because he said he had an interview. Ended up, he had another secret damn side baby on the way. Does this sound like an environment that would foster happy, healthy, well-adjusted children? Or a home that would breed self-loathing children full of contempt and envy for Black women who don't struggle with our identities in this manner? Okay. We've talked about the unhealthy relationship dynamics and household environment that these children are growing up in. Let's begin to look at real-time examples of the byproducts and the children that result from these unhealthy relationships.
While. So I want to talk about the big elephant in the room when it comes to mixed people, right? Oh, you can tell who has a white mom and who has a Black mom. Yeah, you can. The ones with white moms, a lot of times, they're either so aware, painfully aware of what it's like having a white mom, or so on the other end of the spectrum, there's no in between. And it's painfully true. The one thing, the major difference I feel like, and I've seen another creator talk about this, is like black moms might drop the ball on like regular parenting shit, like as does everyone else, but they never drop the ball. They never drop the ball on raising their kids to be confident in themselves as far as their race. Like, they never let their kids grow up confused about who the fuck they are racially and ethnically. Like, I just don't see it happening. Black women are the most aware of their race and their gender. Like, we literally have to be hyper vigilant about how we experience life. And so Black women have to raise their kids in a world where everyone else will be trying to tell them who they are. I feel like Black moms are like, no, like, this is who you are. You need to stand in that. White moms, a lot of the time I just see are so clueless. I'm sorry to say it, but like, they have these kids for sport, right? Like, they're like, oh, like, this black guy is so hot, and wouldn't our babies be so cute? And they raise their kids like not knowing who they are, not knowing how to identify. A lot of times they'll raise their kids around all white people, which is even more confusing. And personally, like, my dad also dropped the ball. Like, we can blame him too. I just feel like it's not fair. Like, I didn't consent to having a white mom. And I wish white women were more careful about who they had kids with. Because you have to transform your entire life. You have to unlearn everything that you've ever learned if you want to have a child with someone from a different culture. I would never, like, for instance, be with someone who's Asian and be like, but I'm not going to give up any of my prior cultural practices and you need to assimilate with mine. Like, I would never do that. I would be willing to uproot my entire life to make sure that my kids were accepted, at the very least, within their family. A lot of mixed kids with white moms do not get the same grace. They just don't. White moms, not all, because I know some who do the damn thing, but it's very rare. It's very rare. And I just don't see black moms.
What did I tell you? So these mixed race kids with white moms be F the F up. So how dare you, as a black woman, mother of the earth, the sole carrier of the Eve gene, divine daughter of the universe, you can create children who look like everything. You possess magic, majestic melanin, and black girl magic. How dare you get off your throne with your melanated, successful, intelligent, fine black ass to address these miserable mud ass bitches? How dare you let them knock you off your square like this? How dare you even remove your crown to even address these bum ass bitches? How dare you cast your pearls before swine, sis? They daddies don't even pay attention to them, but here you are. Their mothers who birthed them from their wombs hate them and don't acknowledge their identities. But here you go, dignifying them with your attention and your responses. The gag is this biracial Becky's black ass daddy was in prison during the entire duration of her childhood. Like, I wish I would argue and go back and forth with the bitch daddy make 2 pennies an hour making license plate in prison. I wish I would argue with a bitch whose daddy's home address is cell block 9. I wish I would go back and forth with a bitch who was brought into this world by inmate number 1824. I wish I would address a bitch who was conceived during a conjugal visit. Are you kidding me? Your father is considered state property, ho. And I would say I'm an elitist because I'm just built different. My esteem is extremely high. I'm way too beautiful, intelligent, and successful to play in the mud with these biracial bums. And my platform is a fraction of the size as these other women creators. I just wish that collectively other black women would feel the same. Let's look at another mixed race woman sharing the truth on this as well and why they struggle so much and are so effed up.
I don't know what mixed baby needs to hear this, but it's okay if you drop your white mom. It is. There are so many white mothers who sit there and they have mixed babies and then they literally destroy us. My mom, ever since I was little, has been calling black women disgusting and loud and dirty and arrogant and ghetto. And For some reason, she fails to realize that I am the same woman that she is talking about. She fails to realize that there's no difference between us. The only difference is the slightly lighter complexion. That's it. Y'all sit here as white women and you have black and brown and Asian children, and then you literally talk about us like we can't hear you. You talk about how we're disgusting and how we leech off the government and how we're not even from America and how we don't even need to have protests for things because everyone's created equal in the first place, but then you date white supremacists and bring them into our own houses. And you expect us to be comfortable. You expect us to be comfortable with your husbands that wear Trump hats. You expect us to be happy and accepting that you want to go out for shots of tequila and make fun of every man in the room and say, I bet his name is Juan. I don't find that funny. I don't find the joke in that. To make fun of everybody's fucking race except your kid because you, for some reason, have the capacity to think that they're different, to think that they are you, when they have never been a part of you in the first place. I don't get it. I don't get how y'all can pretend that your kids don't hear you and then be absolutely baffled when they finally do. And they finally don't want to be around you. So for the kids that have grown up in environments in the exact same that I have, I don't care if you're afraid of not having parents. I'm afraid of having a parent that can't even see who I am when I'm looking them right in the face. And the fact that I don't even have a parent that knows who I am, it's pretty much like having none anyways.
Told you. And again, y'all don't know this mud-eyed bitch. I won't name her. Do not name her and that whack-eye movement she's a part of on my channel. I don't get free promo. You got to pay me for that. But apparently this dumb-eyed bra openly skin bleaches as well, it turns out. It's like this why that red-ass is calling black women cotton pickers and the hard R and nappy-headed. She was raised by a self-loathing nig dog who raked her mother across the coals. This turned her mother into a white woman who hated her as well due to her proximity to blackness. Your father didn't even give a fuck about you enough to remain free so he could properly raise you. He up here living his best life, getting bent over in prison. I said this before and will say it again. My dad is not perfect, but I was loved and cared for by my father. My father was involved and engaged. Your father was an inmate. My parents had shared custody. You had weekly visiting hours at the correctional center. My father gave me money growing up from necessities. You grew up giving him money for his commissary. We are not the same. Black women, do not waste your time being bothered and triggered by these bum-ass bitches. Y'all want to keep going? Let's look at another example.
Wait, what gives it away? Is it our deep-seated insecurity? Is it our self-hatred? Is it our perpetual identity crisis? Is it the fact that we will literally tell anyone who will listen that we feel uncomfortable in our own skin? Or maybe our familial struggles? Perpetual depression? Maybe an unalive attempt? I would agree that it probably is very obvious that we have white moms. I would say my own personal experience is that I would rather have not existed at all. Just being honest.
Okay, these kids so effed up they want to unalive themselves. Do y'all hear me? And I'm sorry, I should have prefaced that with a trigger warning, but this is what they experiencing. They down bad. Yet black women will come off your throne and your perch to address them because they hate you. Your mother don't like you, your daddy abandoned you, you don't even love yourself, bitch. You trying to take yourself out. Why the F would I go back and forth about what you think of my beautiful, fine, black melanated ass? What sense does that make, black women? And again, it bothers me. I honestly do think sometimes black women respond to this mess out of insecurity. We don't need to be defending our blackness. Instead, we need to be affirming and unwavering in our identity, in our beauty, and in our regalness. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The dog howls at the moon. The moon does not bark back. Let's talk about a white woman even admitting this.
Need y'all white parents of biracial kids to listen in real quick. I'm gonna give you fair warning, this might be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's necessary. A lot of y'all's kids have complexes and identity issues, and it's not because they have a white parent. It's because a lot of y'all chose to have biracial kids before you unpacked your internalized racism and anti-blackness. It's because a lot of y'all have biracial children without learning enough about the black experience to guide your child through a black experience. To guide them through a world that is inherently anti-black. Cutting off your racist family members is not all it takes to raise a biracial kid. In fact, that doesn't even come close to the bare minimum. You can have the best intentions for your children while still causing them collective harm. And you know, I first noticed this when my daughter was an infant and I started joining Facebook groups for parents of biracial kids. These white moms would have the best intentions, yet end up on Facebook crying about how their child was saying they didn't want to be black and they hated being black. And because these parents did not take the time to educate themselves whatsoever on systemic racism and anti-blackness on a level that they would be able to appropriately raise a biracial child, they were on the internet crying for help instead of helping their kid. You cannot shield your child from experiencing anti-blackness in the world, but you can equip them to deal with it. I get told pretty frequently that my daughter will be mistaken for a black mom biracial. Now I'm going to explain to you why. First and foremost, she is not raised in an anti-black environment. A lot of black men, white women relationships are inherently anti-black, due to the fact that the relationship is based on fetishization and the hatred of black women instead of mutual love. The way that I look at it, the world is constantly going to be hurling anti-blackness at my child. And instead of acting like it does not exist, I have been equipping my child since birth to be able to handle said anti-blackness. Through radical self-love and positive identity. My child has at a young age told me that she wanted to be white to match her family. Right then and there, we had a very long conversation about anti-blackness and racism at 4 years old, and how her blackness was the most beautiful part of her. She made a comment one time about her baby doll, her black baby with coily hair, being ugly. Again, we had a long discussion about colorism, texturism, and racism. After that day, that baby did not leave her hip. You have to ensure that you are not feeding your child a complex towards other black people. If you don't want your child to have identity issues, it starts with you. It is wholeheartedly possible for you to educate yourself. A lot of y'all simply choose not to. Do better.
And listen, I see this firsthand myself. Y'all know I have mixed race sisters. My father blindly and haphazardly remarried and had kids with a white woman. Their mother told my mixed race sister before that her hair looks like a bird's nest. His wife's brother has called my father the hard R in front of my sisters as well. My father moved his biracial children to an all-white Hicktown rural area where they're being called the hard R. It escalated so much to the point where I had to step in and reach out to the school. I researched the Board of Education chair. I found out the superintendent's information and had a meeting with them and let them know this has been a consistent issue. And if they don't remedy it, I'll be filing a formal complaint with the Department of Education. They will be sued and will lose public funding as well since they are a public school, and allowing that type of treatment and harassment is illegal. That is what a black mother does. That's what a black mom does. That's how a black mother who has biracial children advocates and protects her kids. I called for this meeting and attended it myself. My dad, my black daddy in the meeting, slouched over, wringing his hands because he's uncomfortable talking to white people. I'm in a meeting because I'm being forced to intercede in this manner to provide the parental protection my siblings' parents are failing to do. I got my crown up high, shoulders back, giving black women educated regal realness. I tell them boldly and directly, this is a child that deserves a healthy learning environment. She deserves to be advocated for, and she deserves to be loved and protected by the adults in her life. I guess she's never heard that before because she immediately broke down in tears and started sobbing. And my maternal instincts won't let me off their neck. So I'm sitting here with the claws out, simultaneously trying to comfort her, but still gathering the principal and assistant principal together. Whole time her biological parents looking like boo-boo the fool. That's the difference between mixed children who have black moms. That's what black moms do. That's the difference a black mother makes, and is why these mixed children are so mad when they grow up with white moms. The first thing Black women learn in this world is our identity and how to affirm and advocate for ourselves and our children. We have no choice but to. And this is why the overwhelming majority of these mixed race women with white moms be so effed up, because they lack this presence and do not have the advocacy and protection. On the opposite, we'll start to hear, and I'll share some more clips of them talking about how their white mothers would regularly degrade and berate Black women and women of color in front of them out of jealousy and spite. I don't have mixed children, but if I did have biracial kids, please believe they'll be learning all types of stuff and looking up to Kamala Harris and Barack Obama and other successful mixed race people. They will be fans of Zendaya and Halle Berry and will be celebrating their image and would know about other fabulous mixed race women to help affirm their identities and their beauty. This is why they hate you, Black women. They cannot relate. Their white mothers bought them white baby dolls, complained to them about their hair texture and appearances, and degraded women of color who look like them. I'm sorry your mama didn't care enough to learn how to do your hair, so you have to walk around looking like a damn treasure troll, biracial Becky. I'm sorry your deadbeat daddy abandoned you and your mother hated you and blamed you for it, you poor, tragic mulatto. I'm sorry your mother degraded your image in order to uplift her own, you miserable mutt. I'm sorry your mother and deadbeat ass daddy forced you to worship the image of women who look nothing like you. Let's look at this next clip that illustrates this.
Genuinely curious if anybody else who was mixed had a similar experience with their mother growing up. To give you a little background, my father is African American and my mother is Mexican. They were married and together my entire childhood, teenagehood, all that. Throughout my childhood, I recall my mom constantly just like shitting on Black women for no reason. Like, why at 7 years old are you ranting to me about how Black women have been jealous of you your entire life? They're just mad that I took one of their men. They've always been super jealous of my hair. Ma'am, you have thin, straight hair that you have to go and sit in a chair for 3 hours to get some fake chemical curls. Obviously, not all Black people have curly hair. You can be Black and have straight hair naturally. Are you saying people are jealous of something that you don't even have? In the grocery store, and you would hear somebody being a little bit louder a couple aisles over, and she would say stuff like, I bet they're Black. She used to babysit for this Black couple, and every single time the mother would come and pick up their son and then leave, my mom would make comments like, I bet she's a stripper, huh? Just because this woman had a nice body, a nice car, like, just nice everything. She was a bad bitch. Anytime I would talk back, she would say, oh, that's the Black in you. Like, what? Months at a time, she would ship me over to Virginia, and then when I would ask, like, Mom, why aren't you coming with me? She would say things like, I can't be around people like that. They give me anxiety. Oh, but when you do show your face, it's all smiles. Hello, everybody. I just don't get it. Like, how did you have children with a Black man, but you're constantly talking bad about people? The way I was supposed to be doing my makeup this entire time, but no, girl. I gotta get that off my chest. I really don't get it.
And listen, I could devote an entire show to this topic alone about how a lot of non-Black women, including mixed race ones, think they're entitled to have a better lifestyle and how they get very upset when they see Black women doing better than them. I've noticed this, and I have to be very mindful of this because I live a very nice lifestyle. And I am a 4C hair having, dark-skinned, chocolate Black woman, racially unambiguous Black woman. And I drive a Range Rover. And I also have a company, Tesla, provided by my job. I make multiple 6 figures a year. I live in a gated community and own multiple rental properties as well with multiple businesses. And I noticed when I talk to other groups of people, I have to be very careful to not divulge too much information because I've had people inadvertently grimace when I've told them about some of my endeavors. It's something very subtle, and it's like an immediate knee-jerk reaction that happens so quickly that if you blink, you wouldn't catch it, you would miss it. But it's because they have a visceral reaction to my success. They do not like to see Black women, especially racially unambiguous Black women, doing better than them. Because if anyone is deserving of that lifestyle, it's them. I've gotten cussed out and told that I'm a liar because people just can't believe that I live better than them and I'm more successful and more educated than them. Like, here this woman babysat for a successful Black woman, y'all. Like, literally, you're the Mexican maid, sis. You're her service provider. You work for her. You're her employee. And because she's successful, you're one of her workers. You perform hard labor for her. She's talking about, oh, she must be a stripper. And I work out as well, so I'm quite sure people might think that I'm a stripper. This is why I was so disappointed to see these very large platforms give these miserable mutts clout. They're envious and jealous about your platform and your success because they feel that they should have it. Let's look at this last example that illustrates this as well.
So if you ever watched a rap game, everybody wondered what happened to Lotto and her daddy, because you know her daddy was like her biggest fan and he was always around her. Even when she started becoming bigger, he was her security, you know what I mean? The whole 9 yards, until she got a real security. And everybody was wondering. And then there's rumors that came out, was like, oh, well, he was stealing from her. But nobody could really find anything solid to prove or that she even said this. We know that she had said in the past she don't talk to her dad. It's been like over a couple years since she spoke to him. But recently, today, she posted to her Instagram stories, like she shared that story of that pilot, the pilot who was, the man who was on the plane, and the pilot happened to be his daughter. Here, I'll post it up. So she reposted this and she captioned it, "Oh, my dad steals from me and tells people I'm in the Illuminati." Which is just, you know, some people are going to run with what the dad is saying, like, well, maybe she is in the Illuminati, but she's saying she's not, and that this is what her daddy is making up the rumors on her as far as her being in the Illuminati. Y'all drop a comment if you heard about this, but I mean, it is solid that the man was stealing from her, because she said it herself on her story. So that part is at least true, that, you know, they fell out over money. But I feel like the parent, like, I don't know why he was stealing money from her. I'm pretty sure she would have just gave him some damn money. So, and then that's why she wasn't, like, they said, like, before, when, you know, Lotto was like, Lotto should have way more money than this. He was stealing it, apparently. That's what had came out in the past, but we didn't know, like, was it really true? Because she, even at one point, she's like, oh, yeah, I got the money. Like now she got the money because he was no longer managing her or whatever. So it's just crazy that that, you know, him being her parent would just be stealing from her. I mean, I know it happens a lot, but, you know, you think that your daughter's successful, she would more than likely give you the money. She seems like she's very generous as far as her family members goes, especially with her sister and her mom. So I don't understand why, you know, the dad would be doing this. But you guys drop a comment if you've seen it.
What did I tell you guys? And I actually like Lotto. I'm a fan of her. I enjoy her music. She stays in rotation on my workout playlist. Her, Glorilla, and Meg put me in beast mode at the gym. Now, I think this girl is extremely talented, but she's a prime example of a tragic mulatto. That's why she literally calls herself Lotto, y'all. This is why she's a mixed race girl from Ohio, where I'm from, but rapping like she's from East Atlanta. Y'all notice Saweetie does this too. She's also a biracial Becky from California, but got a song she just released rapping like she's from Memphis. Like, how you all of a sudden sound like Glorilla, sis? Sounding straight up like Iggy Azalea. These girls with white mothers be so confused and having these identity crises like this because they are byproducts of self-hatred, toxicity, and confusion. They are also products of objectification and fetishization. Their fathers are either self-hating ninjas who pedestalize non-Black women because they dislike themselves, or they are frustrated because they're broke and ugly and unattractive and can't get the Black woman that they really want. So they resort to dating Becky. And they meet these unsuspecting white women who are also confused, trick them into believing they'll receive this preferential treatment due to their non-Blackness. It never works out. We all know it's a lie and it's a recipe for disaster, because partnering due to superficial reasons like this does not lead to a long-term healthy relationship. So the facade quickly fades. They get the same Black men, and these males leave, abandon their children, and simply create another fatherless home. So the white women become bitter and resentful because they were abused, used, and discarded. Tyrone is nowhere to be found, and she's sitting here holding the bag, left with these mixed-race bastard babies. And biracial Becky is a stark reminder of her mistakes. So she takes it out on her mixed-race children. And again, she also has no idea how to raise a child of color, don't know how to do her hair and ish, teaches her nothing about her Black side of the family. Remember, we were just talking about how Nick Cannon's baby mama number 10 was complaining about the newborn crying, and her response was to read the damn baby stories about Biggie and Tupac. What the f- A 2-month-old don't want to hear no story about rappers, but just clueless. She associates Blackness and Black culture with Biggie. I used to rhyme right because my rhyme's tight. I know that baby was like, whoop, get me the fuck out of here. But just ill-equipped and ill-prepared to teach them about the Black side of their family and their heritage. Again, they be too white to be considered black and too black to be considered white. And this is why they end up so mad and have all this displaced anger for fully black, racially unambiguous black women. Don't fall for the rage bait, black women. Because as someone with a master's in marketing, I'm telling y'all got platforms with 200,000, 300,000 followers. Y'all done gave this chick thousands of dollars in free promo. That's how marketing works. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You're giving her exposure that she's not paying for. You ever wonder why every time 50 Cent got something to promote, he's starting a beef? And then he'll randomly hashtag in a post, hashtag effing vodka or hashtag watch Power on HBO or whatever channel that show's on. Y'all get the point. It's because he knows that will garner your attention. The beef is going to garner clout and publicity. He's going to be on all the blogs, so he's going to use these fake beefs to get as many views as possible and to promote his ish. Trust me, I know. I published a children's book sometime back, a few years back, and reached out to a few blogs to promo it. And they charging $5,000 for a single post. So folks like 50 Cent and biracial Becky going to do the same for free clout and promo. And we falling for it. That's essentially what these mixed race women are doing here. And again, mixed race women with white mothers are miserable. They're created out of fetishization. Their fathers don't love them or raise them properly and abandon them. Their mothers resent them because she's a stark reminder of how she foolishly left her own group of men who are protectors and providers to sleep with a ninja without a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. This is why they walking around mad, triggered, talking like this. I'm sorry your mother don't love you. I'm sorry your father abandoned you. I'm sorry you're a multiracial mutt. I'm sorry you're a multicultural cunt. We're the blueprint, period. Full stop. Get over it. Black women have been the pioneers of culture, style, resilience, strength for centuries. And I know you want to be that so bad. I know you see our swag and our beauty and our intelligence and how we're affirmed in our phenotypes. You hate us for it. We've been this shit. And no amount of hatred and negativity spewed our way will dim that truth. Black women, fix your crown and don't ever forget that. That's all I got. So what do y'all think about this whole debacle? Why do you think mixed race women with black mothers end up so much more well-adjusted than those with white mothers? Why do you think those who have these identity issues end up turning around and projecting this displaced anger on black women who be minding our business? What do you think about black women stepping away from our throne to address these bum bitches? I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts. Please chime in down below. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.
Even if you think I should, bitch, bigger, I don't give.
If y'all come across a red iPhone, can you please bring it to the sound stage? Red iPhone, appreciate it.
girl.